Have you ever wondered how we transitioned from the Dark Ages to the modern world? The answer lies in a period known as the Renaissance. The Renaissance, a term meaning rebirth, marked a profound shift from the Middle Ages religious and feudal society to a period of cultural, political, and economic rebirth. It began in Italy around the 14th century, inspired by the rediscovery of the rich and sophisticated civilizations of ancient Greece and Rome. This period saw a renewed interest in art, science, and thought, sparking a cultural revolution that spread throughout Europe. The Renaissance was not just about art and literature, though. It was a time when people started to think about the world in new ways. They began to question the Church's teachings, leading to a surge in humanist thinking. Humanism, a philosophical stance that emphasizes the value and agency of human beings, became the intellectual backbone of the Renaissance, fostering a spirit of curiosity and innovation. During this time, the world as Europeans knew it was also expanding. Major geographical discoveries were made, significantly altering their understanding of the world. The discovery of the New World by Christopher Columbus in 1492 was a monumental event. This revelation challenged the existing perceptions of the world, shaking the foundations of the medieval worldview and paving the way for the modern age. It opened up new horizons, both literally and figuratively, leading to the exchange of ideas, goods, and cultures. These geographical discoveries also fueled a wave of exploration. Adventurous sailors ventured into unknown seas, driven by a thirst for knowledge and the promise of riches. This age of exploration further expanded the boundaries of the known world, turning Europe into a hub of global trade and interaction. The Renaissance was a period of great dynamism and change, a time when old ideas were challenged and new ones embraced. It was a time of exploration, discovery, and a rebirth of knowledge. The cultural and intellectual achievements of this period continue to influence our world today, reminding us of the power of curiosity and the human spirit. The Renaissance was a time of exploration, discovery, and a rebirth of knowledge, setting the stage for the next big shift in human history. The Renaissance was not just about geographical discoveries, it was also a time of groundbreaking scientific discoveries. As we delve into the vibrant tapestry of the Renaissance period, we begin to see a shift from a world governed by religious dogma to one enlightened by reason and empirical evidence. And this shift was largely fueled by scientific discoveries. One of the most significant of these discoveries was the heliocentric model of the solar system, proposed by Nicholas Copernicus. This new model, which placed the sun at the center of the universe, challenged the age-old geocentric model that had the Earth in the limelight. Suddenly, our world was not the center stage of existence, but rather a humble player in a much larger cosmic ballet. The heliocentric model faced fierce opposition, but it paved the way for future astronomers like Galileo Galilei and Johannes Kepler. Galileo, with his improved telescope, observed celestial bodies like never before, and Kepler, with his laws of planetary motion, gave the heliocentric model a mathematical foundation. But the Renaissance was not just about the stars. There were revolutionary discoveries on Earth as well. Leonardo da Vinci, a polymath and a titan of the Renaissance, made significant strides in anatomy, mechanics, and hydrodynamics. His detailed sketches of the human body and his visionary ideas, such as the concept of a flying machine, were far ahead of his time. And let's not forget the world of chemistry. Alchemists of the Renaissance, while on their elusive quest for the philosopher's stone, laid the foundations of modern chemistry. They developed laboratory equipment techniques and the classification of substances. The impact of these scientific discoveries was profound. They challenged the existing belief systems, shook the pillars of religious authority, and sparked an insatiable curiosity about the natural world. This period of scientific revolution, of questioning and discovery, was a critical stepping stone to the Age of Enlightenment. The scientific revolution of the Renaissance laid the groundwork for the Age of Enlightenment. So, as we move forward, let's remember the bold thinkers of the Renaissance who dared to challenge the status quo and who set the stage for the scientific and philosophical advancements that were yet to come. But how do we know what we know about the Renaissance? This is where source criticism comes into play. Source criticism is a powerful tool that historians use to assess the reliability and validity of sources. Think of it as a detective's magnifying glass, helping us sift through the debris of the past to find the nuggets of truth. In the context of the Renaissance, source criticism allows us to separate fact from fiction. It helps us understand the context in which a document was created, the motivations of its author, and how it might have been influenced by the cultural, political, or religious climate of the time. This process of evaluation ensures that our understanding of the Renaissance is based on credible information, not just hearsay or conjecture. So while we marvel at the artistic and scientific achievements of the Renaissance, remember that it's through the lens of source criticism that we can truly appreciate the era's complexities. Source criticism is a critical tool in our quest to understand history, and its importance only grows as we move into the Enlightenment. As we move from the Renaissance, we enter the Age of Enlightenment, a time that saw revolutions not just in thought but also on the ground. One such revolution was the American Revolution. The Enlightenment, also known as the Age of Reason, was a period in the 17th and 18th centuries where reason was advocated as the primary source for authority and legitimacy. It was a time of intellectual ferment, where philosophers and thinkers across Europe began to question traditional authority and embraced the notion that humanity could be improved through rational change. The Enlightenment produced numerous books, essays, inventions, scientific discoveries, laws, and revolutions. This intellectual movement significantly influenced society and politics. It challenged the status quo and led to a shift in the way people viewed authority, society, and what they considered to be natural or given. It advocated for individual freedoms, equality, and democratic governance, principles that are still cherished and upheld today. The American Revolution was deeply influenced by these Enlightenment ideas. The colonists, frustrated with British rule, began to question the authority of the king and parliament. Drawing on Enlightenment principles of individual liberty and self-government, the phrase "no taxation without representation" became a rallying call for the colonists, embodying the Enlightenment's emphasis on participatory governance. The Declaration of Independence, a landmark document of the American Revolution, clearly reflects Enlightenment thinking. Thomas Jefferson, its primary author, was greatly influenced by Enlightenment philosophers such as John Locke. The Declaration's emphasis on individual rights, equality, and the idea that governments derive their powers from the consent of the governed all stem from Enlightenment ideals. The impact of the Enlightenment and the American Revolution was far-reaching. It led to a major shift in the global political landscape, influencing the formation of many modern democracies and shaping the principles on which they stand. So the Enlightenment wasn't just an intellectual movement. It was a powerful force that stirred the winds of change across continents, sparking revolutions and setting the stage for the world as we know it today. The Enlightenment and the American Revolution marked a major shift in the global political landscape. The Enlightenment did not stop at the shores of America. It crossed the seas and found its way to France, leading to the French Revolution. The Enlightenment was a period of intellectual ferment that championed reason, individualism, and skepticism towards traditional institutions. This philosophical movement ignited a spark in France, a nation burdened by financial crisis, social inequality, and a disconnected monarchy. The French Revolution, a tumultuous 10-year period from 1789 to 1799, was significantly influenced by the Enlightenment's ideals. The Enlightenment philosophers such as Voltaire, Rousseau, and Montesquieu challenged the status quo, advocating for human rights, liberty, and democratic ideals. Their writings were widely read by the French bourgeoisie and proved instrumental in shaping the revolutionary spirit. They argued that political power should not be concentrated in the hands of the monarchy or the church, but should be distributed among the people. This idea was revolutionary, especially in a country like France where the monarchy had held unchallenged power for centuries. The French Revolution began with the storming of the Bastille, a symbol of royal tyranny. This act of defiance was driven by the Enlightenment idea of the people's right to resist oppression. The revolution saw the abolition of feudalism, the introduction of a constitution, and the establishment of a republic, all underpinned by Enlightenment principles. The French Revolution also embodied the Enlightenment's emphasis on equality. The revolution's motto, liberty, equality, fraternity, reflected this. The feudal system was dismantled, privileges of the nobility were abolished, and a more equitable system of taxation was introduced. The revolution sought to create a society where rights were not a privilege of birth, but a fundamental right of all individuals. Yet, The French Revolution was not without its contradictions. The Reign of Terror, a period of extreme violence and political purging, was a far cry from the Enlightenment ideals of reason and justice. Nevertheless, the revolution's influence spread throughout Europe, challenging monarchies and reshaping political landscapes. The French Revolution, inspired by the Enlightenment, forever changed the course of European history. The ideals of liberty, equality, and fraternity, once mere philosophical musings, became tangible through the Revolution, leaving an indelible impact on the world. From the Renaissance to the Enlightenment, we've journeyed through some of the most transformative periods in human history. We've explored the Renaissance, a time of rapid change and new geographical discoveries, igniting a flame of curiosity and creativity that forever changed our understanding of the world. We delved into the Enlightenment, a period of intellectual illumination, where reason ruled and gave birth to revolutions. The American Revolution, born from Enlightenment principles, championed the cause of liberty and independence, and not far behind, the French Revolution, a tumultuous time that reshaped the political landscape of Europe. We also discussed the importance of source criticism, a tool of discernment, enabling us to scrutinize historical documents and narratives critically. It's a key to unlocking the truth behind the text, helping us to understand and interpret history more accurately. Understanding these periods helps us appreciate how we've arrived at our modern world, reminding us that knowledge and exploration are the driving forces of progress.